Hi, my name is Tess. I'm here with the Echo. The date is October 21st, and we are here at the St. Louis Park City Council to see what's going on at the City Council meeting.
Thank you so much for the wait. We will get started on our City Council meeting. It is now 6:21. Please, roll call, please.
Councilmember Ferris.
Here.
Councilmember Dumoulin.
Here.
Councilmember Rod.
Here.
Councilmember Budd.
Here.
Councilmember Browson.
Excitedly here.
Councilmember Bowman.
Here.
And Mayor Mohammed.
The meeting started with the approval of the last meeting's minutes. Councilmember Rogg requested a small change in the minutes, which was approved unanimously, followed by the minutes themselves. The council then discussed the consent calendar, with issues such as fines on establishments that serve alcohol to people under 21 and continued partnership with the Parktacular program for the summer celebration. The consent calendar was also unanimously approved. Mayor Nadia Mohammed then adjourned the meeting and the council moved into a study session. The council brought in people to discuss new opportunities for rezoning, specifically surrounding potential light rail stops. The council members then ranked their favorite zoning plans, as well as discussed how to implement the designs. The council members ended up over time on the topic, so Mayor Mohammed decided to table the discussion for a later date. The council members then discussed purely cashless business in St. Louis Park. The issue was requested for discussion by council members Margaret Rogg and Tim Browson. Cashless business affects the unbanked and the underbanked, who are often people of color and people of lower income. Purely cashless business only accepts non-physical forms of payment, which creates a service barrier between these establishments and people who can only access cash as a payment method. The council agreed that there was limited action they could take at the city level and that they should talk to legislators so that the issue can be discussed on the state level. Finally, the council was adjourned for the day to be reconvened on November 4th. Paul Bodwin said that the meeting was productive, but it moved a little slower than he would have liked.
Okay, we were talking about some big picture stuff, and big picture stuff can be difficult to talk about because it's not specific. So, yeah, it was a little slow, but it was really important to have that high level conversations that we had. But I also feel really good about the conversation that we had around cashless businesses. That was really helpful and something we've been waiting for. But overall, good meeting, just a little slow.
Bodwin said that when he first received the agenda, he was surprised at very few issues, and that the city staff prepares him and his fellow council members well for meetings so that they aren't caught off guard.
I got the report and the agenda. I was kind of surprised to see that we were going to have a little conversation as to whether we want to talk about dog parks, which I think is great, but I didn't see that coming. And I would say in the big picture conversation, there were some things that caught me off guard in terms of some of the plans that we're thinking about, and I can't think of anything specific, but I know a couple times I was like, wait, what? I think one of them was talking about the western part of Excelsior Boulevard without addressing the whole of Excelsior Boulevard. And I know we were looking at specific geographic areas, but when you're talking about something like bike safety, it doesn't make sense to me to do that just on one half of Excelsior Boulevard. We should do it on the whole thing. So I guess that would be the one thing, but not really. Our city staff does a tremendous job of getting us as much information as possible ahead of time so that we aren't surprised. We're very, very well informed by a very competent, hardworking staff. So we get these reports every week, anywhere from they can range from 15 pages to 280, 300, and we got to read through them. But it's good work, and they really do prepare us well, so we know kind of what we're thinking, and what we're going to be talking about going into the meeting.
All right. Bodwin said that the two main issues brought up, the infrastructure and cashless business, were both impactful, but that the cashless business discussion was a long time coming.
It's really hard to answer that because we had this one really big picture thing that was around just development in the city overall that is very, very important. But then we also had this very specific thing around cashless businesses that was also very important, but for very different reasons. So I don't know which was more important. I would say that I'm really glad we had the cashless business one though, because that's one we've been thinking about for well over a year now.
Bodwin said that he still has questions that he wants answered later, but that the meeting was a good jumping-off point for the issues that the council discussed.
I have a lot of questions around bike infrastructure that needs to happen in that redevelopment conversation. I have a lot of questions around the kinds of businesses we wanted to encourage to come into town and all kinds of things like that. So there's a lot that fans out from that very high level big picture conversation around development.
Bodwin said that the city works hard to get information about meetings out to residents, but that it is up to residents to seek out the communication that the city offers.
Our communications department works really, really hard to get information out to residents. We do a lot of social media engagement. There's emails, there's snail mail. It's about trying to capture people and all the different communication mechanisms that we have. But at the end of the day, I will say this: it is incumbent upon every resident to pay attention. Like I said, our communications department, I think, does a fantastic job. But your communication is only as good as the other end of the communication is looking for it, keeping an eye open, not just ignoring things just because it's from the city. Because we do often hear from people that they're very surprised about certain projects and things like that, and we're like, oh God, we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this. Yeah, it's for us as a council, to your question, it's relying on a very savvy communications department that we have.
All right, perfect.